the inflation report has been released, and these are the lowest numbers we've seen in 3.5 years, going back to early 2021, and the Federal Reserve has their eyes on a rate cut of likely 50 basis points, possibly even higher. Well, I have all the details and the full breakdown of the announcement here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. First off, can I ask a huge favor of you? Please make sure to like the video with the big thumbs up button down below. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel with the big subscribe button right down below the video. Thank you so much. I'm here for you every single day. I just want to do what I can to keep you informed and to help you out in any way that I possibly can. Thank you so much. Let's get into it and talk about the details. All right, so earlier today, we did get the all-important inflation report for the month of August. Now, this is very influential, especially because we have the all-important Federal Reserve meeting coming up next week as well, and this is likely going to house the first of the rate cut series that we will likely be seeing over the several months following this. So this is teeing up for a very important meeting next week, and again, I want to talk about that more in just a second as far as what the Federal Reserve will likely be doing with their interest rate policy. Again, more on that in just a minute. But first up, let's quickly talk about the inflation report, again, that was released earlier today. So it came in with a headline number of 2.5%. That is pretty low coming in, and this is nearly at the 2% target that the Federal Reserve wants. Remember a couple years ago when the Federal Reserve was like, yeah, we're going to hit 2% in no time at all. We're here 2.5 years later, and here we are still sitting here wrestling around with this high inflation. But either way, we knew it was going to take a lot longer than what they were actually anticipating. But either way, we are looking at the details here, and it appears that inflation is likely easing a little bit. Now, on a year-over-year basis, again, inflation up 2.5% as the headline number, and on a month-over-month basis, it was up 0.2%, right in line with expectations from analysts as well. So it's looking pretty good here, okay? It's still not at the 2% target, but we're getting pretty close, right? 2.5%. Now, generally, by the way, the benchmark is between about 2 and 2.5%. That's usually where they want inflation to run. So we're kind of at the higher end, the higher range of where they usually want inflation to be. But again, the Federal Reserve has indicated, and Jerome Powell as well, obviously, have indicated they want to bring it down to 2%. Well, if they continue at the current trajectory that they're at now, yes, it may be several more months here until we get to that 2%, but we're kind of on the path according to what we're looking at here. But let me point out some of the categories for you. Now, when it comes down to food, on a month-over-month basis, food was up 0.1%. So in other words, like practically flat. Now, what else is interesting as well, as you may have seen there in the report, or from the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this information that we got here, they said that shelter accounted for 5.1% increase over the last 12 months, and this accounted for 70% of the overall inflation over the last 1 year alone. So I'm not sure if that's totally accurate or not, but that's just what is being reported here. But yes, we know that shelter prices have gone up, but at the same time, we can't discount that food prices have gone up a ton, utility prices, as in energy prices, have gone up a ton, a lot of other things. Medical costs have gone up a lot as well. So these are just some of the categories, but they basically pointed the finger at shelter and said, well, shelter is the culprit for all of these high, inflation numbers that we've seen over the last year. But again, just want to point that out for you really quickly, okay? So either way, no matter how we look at it here, inflation is not rising as rapidly as it was over the last couple of years here. You probably heard me say this earlier in today's video but it's not rising as rapidly. Therefore, we're seeing inflation falling off and easing a bit because it's just it's a trailing 12-month period of time is what we look at to determine inflation, right? So yes, inflation was significantly higher in 2022 and 2023, right? So therefore, it makes it look like inflation is actually quite a bit lower today, when really it's just not rising as rapidly, and the higher numbers are falling off the back end, making it look like, hey, look at that, inflation's gone down, right? But anyway, we kind of know what's going on here. We all still see the very high elevated prices when we go to the store, the grocery store. It literally doesn't matter where you go now. Prices are still elevated on basically everything, right? All right, so anyway, that's from the report there. Now, you probably saw a lot of the details as I shared with you, but let's quickly talk about the Federal Reserve because we have an all-important, very, very important meeting coming up here in a matter of just days. Again, you heard me talk about this earlier today in that video that I brought out to you, but this is the last of the Federal Reserve meetings before the election, okay? Now, it's been anticipated for many, many months now that they're likely going to cut this time no matter what. what. I mean, we could have high inflation, whatever happens, but it's been anticipated that no matter what happens here, the Federal Reserve is likely going to be cutting this meeting. Now, at Jackson Hole, that was a meeting that was out, what was it, 3 weeks ago or so, kind of in mid-August or so. It's their meeting that they come forward, Jackson Hole. It's like this big meeting. But anyway, Jerome Powell indicated during that meeting that, yes, it's time. It is time to start cutting. So it is pretty much guaranteed at this point. Now, obviously, there's only a couple guarantees in life, right? We know what they are. But anyway, right now, it's not a guarantee 100%, but it is practically like near as close to 100% as we possibly could be at this point, especially with the most recent employment numbers that we've been seeing, with the non-farm payroll numbers, with the inflation data that we're going to be getting, or that we just got today, more inflation data coming out tomorrow as well. But with all this information, it is practically as close to guaranteed as we could possibly get that the Federal Reserve will likely be cutting next week with their interest rates. The first of the rate cut series, okay? They've been holding interest rates very high, the highest levels that we've seen in a couple decades. It's been a very long time since we've seen interest rates sitting this high for this long. And remember, high interest rates for long periods of time contract the economy, because it's hard. It's hard. When interest rates are high and money is very expensive, nobody wants to borrow money, at least more than they need to, because it's expensive. Who wants to pay that much to borrow money? Not many people, right? So that definitely is seen in the overall economy, because the economy is contracting. People aren't spending money. It's not stimulative. Things like that. You know how the story goes. You've heard me say it before in other videos, but we can anticipate this much. It's highly likely the Federal Reserve is going to come in and cut by 50 basis points, which is a half of 1%, right? So 50 basis points is half of 1%. So with that being said, they could potentially come in and cut more than that, or even less than that. They could do 25 basis points, but the whole point of a 25 basis point would be virtually nothing. That's like nothing. The whole point of that would not really do anything other than to possibly get the attention of people a little bit. But a 50 basis point rate cut would certainly be helpful. It would not be the cure-all. It would definitely not do what we need it to do, but it's the start. It would be the start of what would be more to come here over the next several meetings, as we continue to see them meeting with their FOMC meetings. But they could possibly do a 75 basis point rate cut as well. But remember, you saw the video that I had a few days ago, and it's this much. If the Federal Reserve comes in and cuts, remember, they're signaling to us a message. If they come in and cut more than 50 basis points, as in 75 basis points or 0.75%, what would that be signaling to us as the consumer and things like this here living in the United States? What it would signal is that, hey, listen up, everybody. The economy is way worse off than we thought it was going to be, and we need to cut interest rates more aggressively now and get ahead of the tumbling economy before it gets really bad really fast. That's literally the message that would be sent to us if they cut any more than 50 basis points. I think 50 basis points would be totally fine. Not a problem. In fact, if they do 25, my reaction to that would be, what are you doing? Why are you only doing 25, right? What is the point of that? I would anticipate 50 basis points is definitely the sweet spot here. I would anticipate 50 basis points, half of 1%, get her started, see what happens here, and then go from there. But if they do more than that, that is much more of a signal that, hey, we lost it, we blew it on the economy is slowing faster, and we need to get ahead of this thing before it really tumbles and drives itself into a ditch, right? Does that kind of make sense? So we'll have to see what happens here, but we'll get all of that information literally in a week from now. We will get all that information, and I'll break it all down for you then. But it's encouraging to see inflation coming down. And again, if you saw that video from earlier today, I was talking about Social Security checks being downgraded. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit discouraging, but at the end of the day, depends on how you cut it. You get one of the two. You get either a high COLA or you either get low inflation. What do you want, right? I mean, take your pick. I don't know. So, I mean, that's kind of how it comes down to it when it comes down to the COLA. But I talked about that earlier. So I hope this helps. But again, please make sure to like the video down below. Again, please, big thumbs up button. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Otherwise, subscribe down below as well. Totally free to do so. Check out the other videos here on the channel. 5,000 nearly videos here on the channel. I know. I can't believe it. That's a huge number as well. Otherwise, check out the other videos I have for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. I have a bunch of videos that I've hand selected for you there, a bunch of popular good videos, so check those out. Otherwise, right now, showing up on your screen as well, you'll see some videos. Thank you so much. Check out one of those, and I hope this helps you to better understand the inflation data that was released earlier today. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll catch you again later in the next one.